doing, everyone? Welcome back to Vintage Cars Ireland, and I have a nice comparison video for you this week. In this video I take a close look at both the Peugeot 106 GTI and the Mazda MX-5 NA. Both cars have a lot of differences and similarities. Both cars are budget friendly, are naturally aspirated and have a similar 0 to 60 time. For a good example of either car, you can expect to pay anywhere between 5 and 8,000 euros. The Peugeot is a 5-seater 2-door car, offering a good bit more practicality than the Mazda. It weighs around 950 kgs and is powered by a 120 brake horsepower 1.6 litre engine. This car has had some modifications done, such as a cold air intake, a 421 manifold and a stainless steel exhaust. It also has bigger brakes which stop really well. I'll compare both these cars and offer my opinion on which I think is the better weekend fun car. I'm a big fan of the styling of the Peugeot, especially the wider arches and headlight design. However, there is no denying that the Mazda is also an astonishing looking car. Being a 2-seater rear-wheel drive car gives it an incredibly sporty feel, and my favourite part of course being the pop-up headlights. The only mods done to this car are the JR7 wheels and the Tyne Street Advance Z coilovers. I've owned both cars for well over a year and have gotten to know their good and bad points. The Mazda is also powered by a 1.8 litre naturally aspirated engine and produces around 136 brake horsepower. It weighs around 980 kgs, so slightly heavier than the Peugeot. So I'm going to head out in the Mazda first and see what it's like. Starting off with the interior, I'm a huge fan of the factory Momo steering wheel that came on the Japanese models. The seats are very comfortable and offer plenty of support. The dash is nice and driver focused, and not overly complicated. Of course, the roof can be easily removed by simply undoing the latches, so you can really enjoy the lovely weather. The engine feels slightly sluggish until you get to about 4,000 RPM. Then it starts to come to life a little bit more. The balance is superb, of course, being famous for its 50-50 weight distribution. So once you have a good set of tyres fitted, it does feel like you can really throw the car into any corner confidently. The drawbacks with this car are mainly rust. And unless you find one that's had the rust sorted with proof, there's more than likely rust hiding somewhere. That said, parts and panels are very easy to find, and this car is nice and easy to work on. But what about the Peugeot? As I mentioned before, this car has an aftermarket exhaust fitted and it's quite a bit louder. The interior feels a little bit cheaper, but it's still very driver focused, and I love the style of the dash. It does remind me a little bit of the dash you would see on a BMW E30. It seems to rev a lot quicker and more aggressive than the Mazda does. The gear changes don't feel as nice though. It feels a little bit looser than the Mazda does. There's also barely any room around the pedals compared to the Mazda, so if you're wearing big shoes or boots, you might find it a little bit annoying. Although I do find that you get used to it, and you can rev match very easily. The braking and handling are pretty similar to the Mazda, and the Peugeot is actually compared to Porsche 911 on Top Gear, and you can go and search that on YouTube. So although both cars are actually really great, I personally find the 106 to be more fun, and it's probably the car that I'd be more likely to jump into for a fun weekend car. However, that's not to throw anyone off buying a Mazda. Mazdas are easily more accessible and more common, so that you can buy one a lot easier. They're also loads of fun, and you can modify them a lot easier than you can the Peugeot. If you're more interested in seeing more videos of the 106 or the Mazda MX-5, make sure to check out my channel as I have loads of videos on both of these cars. I hope you found this video interesting, and if you've ever owned either car, I'd like to hear your opinion on these cars, so make sure to subscribe and leave a comment. Thanks a million for watching, and see you again next week.